Noelle, it must be very difficult for you, especially on Christmas, you and your family. We have video that you shot from this morning. Tell us how your day has started.
Yeah. So we were all in bed. We have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and it was about 5:50 in the morning, and we heard loud banging at the door, and over and over and over again. So we went sleepy in our pajamas to the door, and there was a policeman and a policewoman telling us to evacuate immediately. And we were confused, and we had all our presents set out for our kids to go see, and we were like asking if there was any way we could stay, and they said no, that there was a public threat. So we woke up our kids and put on shoes and jackets and left and got in our car and drove away. And as we were driving away, I was turning around to look. We were trying to make a plan for where we were going to go during COVID. We're trying not to go to anyone's house,
Sure.
so what we could do. And I was looking at our stretch of buildings downtown, and I saw it explode. I saw a huge explosion, a big orange, fireball up in the air, about twice as tall as our building. And I just said to my husband, "Oh my gosh, I think our building just exploded." And
what was going through your mind seeing that?
Immediately, I was so grateful we left. My husband had even said, "Oh, they kind of do these things. Someone might be depressed in the building and making a threat or something, And I said, "Well, I don't want to chance it. I just think we should go." And it was so insane. I mean, McDonald's wasn't even open for breakfast. So it was really like, what's our plan? I don't know. And as I saw it explode. I'm so glad we left. So glad we have our kids. And above anything else, I am so glad for those officers who walked into a building that they knew was a dangerous spot to be and, woke us up and got us out. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, you have a child and a 4-year-old. I can only imagine, what you must be going through right now. Have you heard any word as to if your apartment is okay or your housing situation?
Well, we turned back around when we saw the explosion and went and parked as close as safe, and just to try to see our building. And the back side of the opposite side of the building, that back is where our windows are, and our windows were blown out right at the Christmas tree. So we could see our tree was in there, and it looked like a lot of water was pouring out of the building. So it seems like the sprinklers all went off. And when I went around to the front side of the street, and I was shooting the cell phone video, everything was on fire. Several cars were burning, so much smoke. The candy shop on the corner that we get candy from was completely blown out. And then as I looked over, our front entrance is right next to the Hooters sign. Just a huge chunk of the top of our front side of our building collapsed off as I was looking at it. So it looks like the whole front side of our building's been blown off. And we're so grateful that, that people got out and that we were on the back side of the building,
Can you give me a better idea of the types of people who live in this area? Is it a lot of young families like yours?
Actually, no. We're kind of an outlier. It's a really cool, funky stretch of old warehouses, 4-story, 5-story warehouses, brick warehouses that have been turned into a lot of Airbnbs, really. So there are only a few permanent residents. We're the only ones kids in the area that I know of. But there are a lot of vacationers, another young couple with some dogs that do live in our building. So thankfully, not a lot of permanent families.
And do you have any sort of idea? I'm just looking at these aerials right now and the sheer scale of this devastation from this explosion. Do you have any sort of idea when you'll be able to go back and survey, how your apartment is?
No, we really don't. At a time like this, I call my dad, and he seems to know, the best. And he was saying, "Hun, you gotta be prepared to maybe not go back for a couple of weeks. That you might, that building might get condemned. They're, these really old, 150-year-old buildings, and they weren't built for, to withstand things like this." So we're kind of trying to mentally go through, okay, Christmas is scratched. We went to a Walgreens because that was the only thing open to get diapers and prescriptions and bottles. And we're just trying to be prepared for if the building's condemned and our stuff is ruined, and that's hard, but that's okay. My most precious things are with me now, and that's really what matters.
Yeah, Noelle Rasmussen, my heart goes out to you and your family. We're so glad that you're safe on this Christmas day. This truly is a Christmas miracle, it sounds like, for you and your family. Thank you so much. Pat Milton, Nick Barris, and Noelle Rasmussen, thank you for filling us in.